Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Bald Metal Nerd coming at you with another video. And as you can see, I'm recording this on New Year's Eve, so at almost midnight, because that's what the cool kids do on New Year's Eve. They do stupid YouTube videos when it's almost the new year. I just thought I would do this for fun, since I've been doing a fair amount of political videos lately, and I promise this will be my last one for a while. Basically what this supposedly does, this test, and I will link it in the video description so you can take it for yourself, is it gives you an idea of where you fall on the political spectrum. So we're going to run through this. We're going to run through it fairly quickly. It is 70 questions, so let's go ahead and get started. That way you can see what the questions are, how I answer them, yada, yada, yada. Let's just dive right in. So here we go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oppression by corporations is more of a concern than oppression by governments. I'm going to go with neutral on that because I think it's a problem for both groups. So there you go. Boom. It's necessary for the government to intervene in the economy to protect consumers. I'll agree with that. Strong. The freer the markets, the freer the people. That's definitely true to a degree, so I will agree with that. It's better to maintain a balanced budget than to ensure welfare for all citizens. Well, governments generally don't balance their budgets, and I want people who need welfare to be able to get it, so I will disagree with that. Publicly funded research is more beneficial to the people than leaving it to the market. Well, that is an it depends thing, because it depends on what's being researched, what's going to be used for, yada, yada, yada. I would say sometimes it's definitely valuable to have things be researched, not for just a profit motive, so I'm going to have to agree with this. Next one, international trade is beneficial. Yeah, generally, it's good to be able to trade with other countries. But again, a lot of these questions aren't very nuanced. They're just very black and white, which I don't love, but whatever. So I'll generally agree with that. From each according to his ability to each according to his needs. That is communism, so I'll strongly disagree with that. It would be best if social programs were abolished in favor of private charity. No. Taxes should be increased on the rich to provide for the poor. I know I've talked a lot about, the Trump tax plan and all that. Wow. See, the thing is, it doesn't specify what's being provided for the poor, right? Yeah, generally I'm going to agree with this, but again, context is key. Do I think we should be providing the poor with, free Xboxes and TV? I mean, how far does this go, right? There should be a limit, but I will say I generally agree with this. So we'll hit agree. Inheritance is a legitimate form of wealth. Well, it depends. Do you think people should have to work for their wealth? If you think people should have to, do it on the sweat of their, off the sweat of their brow or whatever, or put their back into it, then no, it's absolutely not. It really depends on how you want to define legitimate, but I guess you could say it is legitimate since somebody did earn it at some point, even if the people who, I don't know, you know what, I'm gonna mark this as neutral, so we'll go with neutral on that one. Public utilities like roads and electricity should be public owned. Yes. Excessive government intervention is a threat to the economy. Excessive, yeah, I'm going to say excessive is a threat to the economy, so hit agree. Those with a greater ability to pay should receive better health care. No, I think everyone should get the same health, equal quality health care, so no. Quality education is a right of all people. I'll strongly agree with that. The means of production should belong to the workers who use them. It depends. If if you're starting a company with a few other people, should you own? I'm gonna just say no. The United Nations should be abolished. The United Nations has some good and some bad, but I think overall, I don't think they're, quote, a bad thing, so I'm going to disagree with that. I think they should exist. They're not perfect, but I think they should exist. So, disagree. Military action by our nation is often necessary to protect it. Again, context is king in this, right? Some is absolutely necessary, some isn't. So, this is not real specific. This is a very general, broad question. I'm going to go with neutral because sometimes yes, sometimes no. So we'll go neutral. I support regional unions such as the European Union. No, well, I'm in the NAFTA free trade zone, and I think that's had a bad impact on our country, so I'm going to say strongly disagree. It's important to maintain our national sovereignty. Yes. The united world government would be beneficial to mankind. There's a million ways that could go wrong, and there's a million ways that could go right. I think right now, until we have a more, quote, united culture, I'm going to have to disagree with that. It's more important to retain peaceful. It is more important to retain peaceful relations than to further our strength. Again, context, right? That's tough. It really depends on what we're dealing with. That's a case-by-case basis, but I'm going to go generally with agree on that. Wars do not need to be justified to other countries. Strongly disagree. We need to justify why we're going to war. Military spending is a waste of money. Again, context. I think we need to definitely have a military, and I think military spending is definitely necessary. Do I think we spend way too much money on the military? Absolutely, we spend way too much money on the military. But do I think overall it's a waste? No, but again, it's not saying... It's just, this is a very blanket statement. I don't like the way it's worded. I'm going to waffle on this one. I'm putting neutral because I think as a country we spend way too much on it, but I think it is necessary, so I'm going to hit neutral on that. International aid is a waste of money. No. We should help out others if we can. My nation is great. No. Research should be conducted on an international scale. Oh. It really depends on what you're researching, right? Is it something that qualifies? Because there are some things that only apply to one country. Not everything is worldwide. A lot of things are, but not everything is. I think generally it probably is more beneficial to do it internationally than not, more often than not. So I will hit agree, but again, there are exceptions to this, so we'll hit agree. Government should be accountable to the international community. Yeah, I don't think we should be violating international law, and we should, yeah, so yes. Even when protesting an authoritarian government, violence is not acceptable. Well, if your government is a total authoritarian nightmare, your people are getting killed for expressing themselves, whatever, do I think it's worth striking back out at them? Yes. Under certain circumstances. I'm going to hit disagree. It's not universal, but we'll hit disagree. My religious values should be spread as much as possible. No, fuck that. My religious values, people should make their own decision on that. So strongly disagree. Our nation's values should be spread as much as possible. Should we force people in other nations to hold our values? No. No. It's very important to maintain law and order. Absolutely. I'll hit strongly agree. Yes. The general populace makes poor decisions. That depends. That depends. Depends. Sometimes, yeah, they make terrible decisions. Other times, they do okay. It depends. I'm going to hit neutral on that because it really depends. Victimless crimes such as drug use should not be crimes at all. Yeah, I'll strongly agree with that. The sacrifice of some civil liberties is necessary to protect us from acts of terrorism. It depends. How worried are we about terrorism? What can we do? Boy, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go neutral on that because I don't know enough about how that works. Government surveillance is necessary in the modern world. What is being surveilled, right? To what extent? Who, what, why, when? Context. There's no context at all in this. Since there's no context, I'm going to go neutral. The very existence of the state is a threat to our liberty. Strongly disagree with that. Regardless of political opinions, it is important to side with your country. Strongly disagree. No authority should be left unquestioned. Yet, we should always question authority, so strongly agree. A hierarchical state is best. All states are hierarchical, so yes. It's important that the government follows the majority opinion, even if it's wrong. Well, if the majority are wrong, no, the government shouldn't follow them. They shouldn't do what the majority wants if the majority are a bunch of morons. But then again, then we're going into, quote, undemocratic. But then again, maybe that's the beauty of a republic. I'm just going to hit disagree on this one. The stronger the leadership, the better. Context. They give no context for this. It depends on the situation. In some cases, yes. Some cases, no. I'm going neutral on that one. Democracy is more than a decision-making process. Yeah, strongly agree. Environmental regulations are essential. Yep. A better world would come from automation, science, and technology. Well, considering that inventions and science generally make the world better, I will agree with that. Strongly agree. Children should be educated in religious or traditional values. No. Strongly disagree. Just because there's now, if they left out religious, I might have a different opinion, but since we're throwing religious in there, I'm going to strongly disagree with that. Traditions are of no value on their own. Oh, brother. Again, context. I think they have some value depending on what they are. So I'll hit disagree. Religion should play a role in government. Strongly disagree. Churches should be taxed the same way other institutions are taxed. Yes. Climate change is currently one of the greatest threats to our way of life. Yes. It's important that we work as a united world to combat climate change. Yes. Society was better many years ago than it is now. No, it was different, but it was certainly, some things were better, some things were worse. It's just what is shitty kind of changes over the years, right? So I'm going to disagree with that. It's important that we maintain the traditions of our past. What traditions are we talking about, right? Some of them are important, some aren't. What are we talking about? Again, no context here, so I'm going to go neutral on that because I don't know what we're talking about. It's important that we think in the long term beyond our lifespans. Yes. Reason is more important than maintaining our culture. Yep, I'd say being reasoned and logical is more important than a culture. Yes, I think that's what we should dedicate ourselves to as a race. So here we go. Boom, for humans. Drug use should be legalized or decriminalized. Yes. Same-sex marriage should be legal. Yes. No cultures are superior to others. Do I think that we're superior to, just a punching bag, nations that institute share a lot? Yeah, I think we're vastly superior to those. We're vastly superior to many others. So I will say strongly disagree. Some cultures are simply superior. Sex outside of marriage is immoral. Disagree. If we accept migrants at all, it is important that they assimilate into our culture. Yes. Abortion should be prohibited in most or all cases. No. Gun ownership should be prohibited for those without a valid reason. No. I support single-payer universal health care. Yes. Prostitution should be illegal. No. Maintaining family values is essential. I'd say for children, yes. To chase progress at all costs is dangerous. Yes. Genetic modification is a force for good, even on humans. I'm not educated enough on that, so I'm going to hit neutral. We should open our borders to immigration. Limited, yes, but I think I know what they're saying, so I'm going to disagree. Again, this is me guessing. I'm going to hit disagree. Governments should be concerned about foreign citizens as they are about those within their borders. Absolutely not, because the job of a government is to care for their own citizens more than foreign citizens. So I'm definitely going to strongly disagree with that. All people, regardless of factors like culture or sexuality, should be treated equally. Yes. It's important that we further my group's goals above all others. Fuck my group, so no. So what am I? Okay, apparently economic axis, I'm social. Diplomatic, I'm balanced. Liberal there, progressive. So apparently I am a social liberal. Social liberalism, which is kind of what I thought I was. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna link to this in the description below. This is definitely far from a perfect test, but if you're curious at all about, where you fall into the spectrum, this will be a good way for you to test yourself. Let me know what you think. There were a lot of questions here I did not love the wording of, and it could have been a lot better. So that pretty much wraps this up. As always, if you like this, thumbs up. If you hate me, thumbs down. Share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thanks for watching, and by the time I upload this, happy belated New Year's. See ya.